Welcome guys back to a new video. One player every Premier League club should sign. Yeah, one player every Premier League club should sign. Yeah, one player every Premier League club should sign. Arsenal, Urian Timber. He was linked with Manchester United last season, but he is now in links with Arsenal. Arsenal, if they do end up signing him, this will be a very, very good signing. He's from Ajax. He will strengthen their squad even more than it needs. And yeah, this Arsenal team can be a very good team, especially if they do sign Urian Timber, because the players they've got them in it: Martinelli, Jesus, Bukayo Saka, Zinchenko. It's just a fabulous team, and to add Urian Timber to that will be absolutely amazing. So, Aston Villa, Romeo Lavia. He has been on the transfer lists of quite a few teams this season. Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal. Yeah, weird one, this one, because he's definitely not £50 million for a start, and if he did sign for Aston Villa, he would get game time in an Aston Villa team. If he signed for the likes of if he signed for the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, he's not getting game time in those teams. So I think signing for Aston Villa would be a good team to sign for him, because he's getting game time, and they're going to be in Europe next season, so he'll get game time. So I think the best team for Romeo Lavia to sign for would be Aston Villa. Bournemouth, Taiwo Awoniyi. He had a fabulous season with Nottingham Forest last season, and if Bournemouth sign him, he could be a great prospect for Bournemouth. And he did have a really, really, really good season last season at Nottingham Forest. So if Bournemouth do sign Taiwo Awoniyi, it will be the best business they make all transfer window, because he is a brilliant player. Brentford, Amad Diallo. So Amad Diallo, he is currently a Manchester United player, but I think should move this summer, because the talent that this footballer has is brilliant. He could be a really, really good footballer if he does sign for a new team, because that is what he needs. To play for Brentford, a team like Brentford would really suit Amad Diallo's style of play, and he scored 14 goals on loan for Sunderland last season. So he could be a really good player for Brentford. Brighton, Xavi Simons. So Xavi Simons could be going back to PSG, because they do have a buyback clause that has been triggered, but I can't see Xavi Simons really doing that well in that team. And would Xavi Simons really do good at PSG is the question. He scored 19 goals in the Eredivisie last season and got 9 assists. So I think signing for Brighton would be a really good transfer for Brighton. Also for the European campaign as well, because they do have the Europa League coming up. So I think Xavi Simons playing for them would be a really, really good addition to the squad. Burnley, Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke wasn't the best last season, but I do think he would do a massive job playing for Burnley because we've seen what he can do at Bournemouth. He was good at times this season, but I think he would do better playing at Burnley. And to keep Burnley up would be massive. And if Burnley want to stay up, they're going to need to sign Dominic Solanke or someone like Dominic Solanke. Chelsea, Ronald Araujo. So, Ronald Araujo is a fantastic player. He plays for Barcelona currently, and Barcelona have won the league, won La Liga last season. So, yeah, he is part of that team, and he was very, very good last season. I think Ronald Araujo would play brilliantly in that defensive role for Chelsea. And Chelsea do need a bit of help in the sort of defence lineup because they need defenders. They've sold Kalidou Koulibaly. So, yeah, they really do need defenders. And I think signing Ronald Araujo would really help their defence. So, yeah, to sign Ronald Araujo would be absolutely crucial for Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Jamie Bino Gittins. He looks like he's going to be a fantastic player, but he won't get much game time in that Dortmund squad. And signing for Crystal Palace, he will get game time because I think he will turn out to be a really fantastic player. He's got a lot of talent. He scored a couple of goals for Dortmund this season, but I think signing for Crystal Palace would be a good option for him because I don't think he will get any game time in that Dortmund team. The way that the players they've got in that team, I can't see him getting any game time, so I think he should sign for Crystal Palace. Everton, Philip Billing. I think Everton needs someone like Philip Billing because Everton need to sell a lot of deadwood players. Michael Keane, Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina. I think a lot of those players do need to be sold. And Philip Billing, like with the problems they've had over the last season, Philip Billing would strengthen up a lot of those weaknesses. And for Philip Billing to sign for Everton would be massive for Everton because I think Philip Billing would do a brilliant job in that Everton team. That's probably his level, and I think he's too good for Bournemouth. Fulham, Carlos Alcaraz. I think he's too good for Southampton, and I think he would do a better job playing for Fulham because this Fulham team is going to be fabulous in years to come with Mitrovic banging every goal in. Palhini is a great player. Could be going somewhere for 80 million. There's just a lot of good players in this team. And to add Carlos Alcaraz to that team would be perfect for Fulham. And I don't think there will be any second season syndrome for Fulham next season. Because if they do sign Carlos Alcaraz, he will be a brilliant addition to the squad. Liverpool, they've been linked to him many times before in the past. Gavi. They need their midfield strengthening up so much this summer, but they've already done that with signing 2 players already, Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai. And I think they could even do an even better job in signing Gavi from Barcelona. He was part of that 22-23 Barcelona La Liga title winning squad. And I think if he does sign for Liverpool, he will do an amazing job in that midfield alongside Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai. But whether he does sign for Liverpool or not is a different question. But I think Liverpool need to sign Gavi because he's an amazing player. Luton Town, James McAtee. He currently plays for Man City, went on loan to Sheffield United, and did well. Did really well. He is one to look out for, and I think he will. He would play a really good part in that Luton team because they need a rebuild over the summer. With the players they've got, they won't even get near the top 15. They won't even get near mid-table. So if they're expecting mid-table, it won't happen if they don't do some sort of rebuild over the summer. So they need to sign James McAtee. Man City, Mohamed Simakan. He is he has been a great player for Leipzig throughout this season, and I could see him playing for Man City because he would be the type of player to play for Man City. He's a great player, and I think he would play really well in that Man City squad. Not many players would, but I think Mohamed Simakan would do a great job for Man City. And yeah, I think Man City do need to sign Mohamed Simakan because he is a great player, and I think Simakan would do a great job as a Man City player. Man United, they are set to sign Andre Onana, but I think David Raya would be a great backup for Andre Onana because Dean Henderson probably won't play in this team anymore. It's unlikely, but I think David Raya would be a solid backup for Andre Onana if Onana does sign. I think Raya would be a solid backup goalkeeper because he has played for Brentford now for 2 seasons in the Premier League, and Brentford's team is solid. But David Raya is a brilliant goalkeeper, and I think he would do a solid job as a backup keeper for Man United. So Newcastle have already signed Sandro Tonali from AC Milan, and I think they should also sign Federico Chiesa. They have been linked with Chiesa. I don't think Chiesa is getting much game time at Juventus, and I think he would be better off playing for a team like Newcastle, who are getting to the big stage, because Newcastle this season will be in the Champions League, and I think Chiesa would do a better job at Newcastle than Juventus, and it would be a bargain deal for Newcastle to sign Federico Chiesa. As I've said, they've already got Sandro Tonali. That's a really, really good signing. So I think they should also sign Federico Chiesa as well. Nottingham Forest, Crescencio Somerville. He has shown last season what he can do, what his potential is, and I think he would do a solid job playing for Nottingham Forest. I don't think he deserves to be in the Championship, and I think the young talent he is deserves a move this summer, and I think he would do a great job playing for Nottingham Forest because that is probably his level, and I think if he does end up signing for Nottingham Forest, that would be a great signing because I think he would do a solid job playing for Nottingham Forest. Sheffield United, Victor Gyökeres. Yeah, fantastic player. Fantastic player. Another young talent. He currently plays for Coventry City in the Championship, but the way he played last season in the Championship was excellent. And I think for Sheffield United to be able to stay up, they would need to sign Victor Gyökeres, because Gyökeres would do a fantastic job in that Sheffield United team. And he has been linked to Everton, but I think he would do a better job at Sheffield United. And also, to keep them up in the Premier League would be absolutely brilliant. Tottenham, Rasmus Højlund. Højlund has been linked with Manchester United. He could sign for Manchester United, but I think he would do a better job at Tottenham. They've already signed James Maddison. They've signed Giuliano Vicario. Giuliano Vicario, sorry. They are yet to sign Manuel Solomon from Fulham and also Mickey van der Ven. And I think signing Rasmus Højlund will be a great signing as well. Tottenham aren't here to mess about this season. They're signing some good players, and Mickey van der Ven is going to be a great signing. Solomon as well, and I think also Rasmus Højlund. The talent he is, he's playing for Atalanta in the Serie A. So the talent he is, he would do a great job at Tottenham. West Ham, Hugo Ekitike. Yeah, he is not getting much game time at PSG, and I think he would do better at West Ham. So yeah, if PSG sold him to West Ham for 30-40 million, that would be a bargain for West Ham, because they need someone like Ekitike. With Declan Rice leaving the club, they need someone like Ekitike to play for their club, and I think Ekitike is the right player to play for West Ham, and he's not a bad player, so I think he would do a solid job for West Ham. Wolves, Yunus Musa. He is a great player, and he's shown that playing for Valencia this season. He could do a solid job at Wolves, and I reckon he would do a brilliant job to strengthen up their weaknesses and just really rebuild the team up. That's what Lopetegui needs to do this summer, else Wolves are in big trouble next season. But signing Yunus Musa will be a great start to the rebuild. And I think signing Musa, he's a fabulous player. We saw that in the World Cup. And for him to sign for a club like Wolves, I reckon he'd do a solid job, and he'd be a great player for Wolves. And he's probably the type of player that would be, he would suit Wolves, and I think he would do a great job at Wolves, because they need to rebuild. So I think Yunus Musa would do a great job at Wolves. So that was one player every Premier League club should sign this summer. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do, which means like, subscribe, and turn post notifications on. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.